Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to be sharing with you 10 things I learned while taking real estate classes. So for the past 2 weeks, my brother and I have been taking classes because my dad's a broker and it's like his new passion project to open up his own office and have us work for him. So we're doing that. These are going to be 10 things that I learned while taking the class. That's why I purposely didn't put from the class, because I'm not going to be talking about houses at all. But it's just what I got from the experience and the people around me and the whole thing in general. Well, first I learned once you leave high school, it's extremely hard to sit in a class for 6 hours straight, 6 days a week, 2 weeks out of your whole summer. That's not really what I learned, but you know, I did learn that. So my first real number one is that prejudice is not bad. Our teacher would tell us all the time that she's 100% prejudiced. She prejudges everyone every single time of the day. And it's so true. Prejudice is not bad. You prejudge everything. You prejudge whether a meal will taste good depending on who cooks it, depending on how it smells, depending on how it looks. You prejudge everything. Prejudice is not bad. It's what you do with those prejudgments. But it's not bad to judge from your limited bit of information. It's bad to use those judgments to define something or someone. Number 2 is that how you look at life is up to you. This woman told us so many sad stories. Her mother died in a fire, her husband has cancer, but you know what? She told us 10 times as many jokes. You would never believe that she's gone through such sadness and such horror stories, but she has, and I know we all have. But it's really about how you look at life and how you make the most of the cards you've been dealt. For my third thing, I'm going to actually say something that she said in class, and she was talking to one of my fellow students, and she was like, "Are you confusing her or are you teaching her?" And I think this was a really good reminder to me that sometimes when you're trying to explain something to someone, or you're trying to explain your story or explain your side, sometimes you're just causing more misunderstanding. So you just have to really be careful when you're trying to teach someone something, that you're not just making more of a mess. So the next one kind of goes a little hand in hand with that, and it's when you pass the blame around, make sure you include yourself. So the example she was talking about was when you don't fully inspect a house as a buyer, and then you want to blame the seller for not telling you things, and etc., etc. But you also have to always take in consideration when there's any situation where you just want to pass off the blame. What did you do to contribute to that situation? What did you do to get you to this point that you're unhappy with? Number 5 is that we are all incredibly more privileged than we know. There are people who would be honored to have the problems we have, and to have the mountains that we are climbing, and to have the struggles that we have. There are people who would be honored to complain about sitting in a class, getting an education that they can't have. And I think it's very important to realize that even our struggles would probably make someone incredibly happy, because our struggles are probably more than they already have. You gotta realize that you have a lot going for you, even if you're not where you want to be, even if you're going through hard times. You are lucky to have the things you have, even the bad things. Oh, I'm so sick. Number 6 is that not everyone has the same morals, mindsets, and behaviors as you. On a lighter note, when you have the same teacher from Monday through Thursday, and then you get 2 new professors on Saturday and Friday, it's not fun. You're gonna struggle a little bit. And to me, the biggest thing that I took away from this is that always be willing, always cultivate how you deal with and handle other people's approaches, because people are not the same as us. People did not grow up in the same situations as us. People did not have the same life experience as us, and they're different. They approach situations differently, and you need to be able to accommodate for that sometimes, even if it's frustrating. Number 7, you have something in common with absolutely everyone. No matter how far apart you were born, no matter how small that little thing may be in common, even if it's the fact that you guys both decide to buy the same pair of shoes, you have something in common with everyone. And it's always wise to focus more on the things you have in common than things you don't. Because I think there is a lot of hate that builds from you versus me versus them versus us, that kind of mentality. And sometimes you just should focus on the things that bring you together, the things that make you one. Number 8 is one of my favorites actually, and it's don't make your own story. Our teacher would always joke because she would give us an example about how to answer a question on the exam, and someone would always ask about this, but what about this, and what about this, and what, like add all these other stuff, and she would always say, be careful of adding your own spices and ingredients. So to me, this is just saying that we all have perspectives, but we have to be careful that we're not completely ignoring or changing someone else's story to fit our own perspective. Just be careful that you're not listening for what you want to hear instead of what the person is actually saying. Number 9 is learn the moral of the story, but don't memorize it. Anything that you go through, you should be able to apply whatever you learned or whatever you got from that experience to other situations. You shouldn't remember exactly what happened and all the little details that made you bitter or made you this or that. Remember how you felt, remember what you learned, and move on. Use those things for the next situation. Number 10 is that if you study hard, the exam will be easy, and if you take it easy, the exam will be hard. Now, I know this doesn't apply to every single situation, but I do believe that to an extent, hard work has a lot to do with how easy something will be. So I think it's important when maybe you start saying that my life is so hard, the situation is so hard, you re-examine, are you working as hard as you could be? And if the answer is yes, then it's okay. Things are hard sometimes. You gotta stick through them. You gotta get through them. But if you've been taking it a little easier than you should, maybe that's a sign to just get up and get going and work your best. So those are the 10 things I learned, and I hope maybe they help you on your life journey. I think it's really important to pay attention to people because you can learn something from every single person you meet if you just pay attention to the things they do and the things they say. In the words of my brother, what he would say when we would take the quizzes and I would do really well, he would be like, you cheated. You actually pay attention to people when they talk. And I think he doesn't realize how wise he was being, because that is so true. The easiest way to get ahead with someone is to just listen to them. Really listen to them. In the end, there's always something new you can learn. You can even learn a new trade. I learned so much about houses and rent and buying a house, and even if I don't ever sell houses, when I'm buying a house, I'm going to be way more knowledgeable than I ever would be if I didn't take these classes. So that's all I have for you guys today. So if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. I'd really appreciate it, because I'm trying to figure out what people like and what people don't like in terms of videos. Any questions, comments, suggestions, leave them down below. That would also be super greatly appreciated. And I hope you guys are having a wonderful, super awesome, fantastic day wherever you are, whatever you're doing. And I hope you subscribe. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Bye! You can't cheat now. You can't cheat, you gotta cover your eyes. Peekaboo!